Good evening again, and welcome to the Charter Review Commission meeting. This is our second meeting, and we're hoping to get things formalized such that you can be charged and set free to deliberate on reviewing the charter and the things that you've been brought here to accomplish. Let's go with a roll call quickly. And let's start with the mayor's appointment, Mr. Joel Thibodeau.
Here.
District 1 would be Lori Brown, not here. District 2, Mr. Kirby Clemens, not here yet. They stuck in traffic. District 3 is Ms. Walker Lashana here. And District 4, Mr. Dolores Washington here. And District 5 is Andre Stanton here. Thank you very much. We will have to establish what a quorum will be, but there are 4 out of 8 that we have. Really 7, because one spot is not filled, but we will call this a quorum for the sake of this meeting. Approval of the agenda. What we have on the agenda are 7 items, and that's the adoption of the May 14th minute, the adoption of the bylaws, the election of officers, review of ordinances of creation, list of charter concerns from the mayor and council, release to independently deliberate on charter review, and to set the next meeting date. Anything to add to the agenda? And by acclamation, we can adopt the agenda as stated. Agreed. Yep. Here, no objection. The agenda is adopted. Public comments. We set aside 20 minutes for public comment at the limit of 2 minutes per speaker, and speakers can only speak once in the public comment section. And public comments are restricted to topics regarding the Stonecrest Charter Commission. At this time, we'll open the floor for public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to make comment? State your name and address.
Good evening, Bernard Knight, attorney at law, post office box 29156, Atlanta, Georgia 03559. Just a small request. If the agenda packet is posted online on the agenda in advance of in this instance, it's my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, then that concludes public comments. Next item on the agenda is adoption of the May 14th, 2024 meeting minutes. Have you had a chance to review those minutes?
Now, I briefly reviewed them, and what I would like to note is my name is there's a misspelling of my name. Misspelling, not this one.
But for the record, what we have here is correct.
Yes, okay. But this agenda is.
We're not making any excuses, because I've been told that there's an issue with the Unicode and switched over and needing to be updated. So there were some things that I saw that were missing in one section, but you find them in a different one. And that type of confusion we just like need. So we'll try to fix that and make sure your name is spelled correctly on all pages.
Yes, it's on this 140, well, 140. It's the last page. It was saying members of the Charter Commission shall be as follows. And number 4, that's off the D.
Thought it was my fault, but okay. We will fix that. All right, anything else? Then if you want to, dispense this, adoption of the meeting minutes until you elect officers, and you make it all as one packet, come under the charter commission, and you can have all of the minutes and records adopted by the charter commission itself. So that's where we're going with this. Stalling for the election of officers because I really want as many people here as possible to participate in that process. But the next item on the agenda is the adoption of the bylaws. We haven't really discussed them, so we want to go into some general discussion about the bylaws. Let's open the floor for that. Just to give you a little background, DeKalb County just went through a charter review. And to guide them, they had bylaws in place. And I really copied what they had and adapted it to fit Stonecrest. And I think I changed all of the names to fit Stonecrest. So that's what you have here. And this is suggested as a guideline, but it's only a suggestion as to the guideline you want to follow when someone challenges what you've done later on in the process or what process that you follow. This is a process that you can choose to follow, and you can amend it, do whatever you feel is necessary to make it work for you. So, any comments or questions about the bylaws? Starting with Article 1. I think you may have received a copy of it earlier, where there were some big question marks in there on line 1. And you see the question marks are gone. And I didn't have the resolution number, so the resolution number has been added. Does anyone need a copy? No. That's three. That's 3 copies.
Article 1, the only question is, as far as the makeup of the commission, that we do have 6 citizens.
Yes.
And so all appointments are by elected officials or the delegation, which is the HOOPA.
Yes.
Are they responsible for and I'm speaking particularly about the House and Senate delegations, they're responsible for appointing a citizen. Does that preclude them from serving themselves?
We looked for that and we couldn't find anything one way or the other. And I looked at what other charter review commissions have done, and they've done it both ways. Some of them have almost all members of General Assembly as appointees, and some have none. The member of the General Assembly, instead of appointing themselves, appointed a citizen. And according to our charter, that appointee does not have to be a citizen of Stonecrest, coming from the General Assembly, those two.
Okay.
We prefer that they be citizens of Stonecrest, but it specifically says that they do not have to be citizens of Stonecrest. So we kind of left it that way. General Assembly, Senate, if you want to appoint someone, go at it. If you want to appoint yourself, that's also acceptable. In fact, Senator Tanya Anderson has been appointed to represent the Senate. Now, from their House, we don't know whether it's going to be a member of the House of Representatives or they will choose a member of the public at large. Like I said, it does not have to be a citizen of Stonecrest.
Thank you.
Any other observations, questions, comments?
Also, I think earlier, Oh, no, okay, no, next question. Thank
Remember, we just discussing the bylaws, and we need guidelines by which we show, or they will need guidelines by which they show deliberate. And when they're questioned later on in life, why don't you do this or by what authority or guideline?
you.
They will have something at hand. Thought about. And I think I read it clearly in the charter that the General Assembly can appoint someone outside of the General Assembly, or they can appoint themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And College Park, in the since we appoint each one of the members of the General Assembly, I think they're on the Charter Committee, the Charter Commission themselves.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Any other observations?
5 minutes for that. General Assembly appointment. Like you said, it's one.
It's overdue. So I'd love to they can get it done, but when you ask them to do it, and they say, we'll get back to you. You ask them again, say, we'll get back to you. We've got to move forward because we're trying to get this done in time for the session in January. So, and not that it's the model, but the DeKalb County even went through that. They wound up with at least one vacancy through the whole process, maybe two.
Pardon me, Lee.
A hard copy of the.
So someone has been.
Oh, they've been asked. I asked the one who represents the most, and that's Ms. Angela Moore. She probably has the biggest part of that. Even suggested someone for her if she couldn't come up with anyone. And I have not talked to the newest member of Stonecrest, and that's the Henry County representative that reaches in Stonecrest. I can't think of her name right now.
But she's my rep now.
Yeah. But anyway, I will
What's her name?
reach out to, I can't think of it right now, but I will reach out to her before the week is out and see if she can, now that they've had the election, all of this was done before the election. Now that the elections are over and we know who's going to be in what seat, maybe they're ready to come together and either volunteer to serve or choose one amongst themselves or identify someone that they think will serve as well. But we need to get it done. But we won't wait on it.
Regina Lewis Ward.
Thank you. Regina Lewis Ward.
One other question about that, and I guess this is a question for Denmark. If members of the General Assembly appoint themselves to the commission, are they also allowed to be the person carrying the bill to the General Assembly?
Yes. Yeah. Because I mean, they could, without the commission, few of them could come together and write an amendment to our charter and carry it themselves. I mean, so they can do that at any time, with or without a commission existing or with or without them being on it. So.
Okay. Other comments? Article 2.
Article 2 is officer.
Purpose, goals, and definitions. If you finish with Article 1. You got a lot of comments. No red marks.
No, I had red marks on the charter stuff.
Okay, this is a lot of boilerplate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just explains how do you set up an organization, election of officers, so forth.
I did have a question in Article 3 regarding the duties of the officers, the particular officer chairman. Item F, coordinate publicity. What does that mean in terms of, I work for a government agency. There are things that I can't be a public spokesperson.
Right.
There are people that. So I'm just trying to understand what does this.
What that means is I took this from the DeKalb County and forgot to strike that. DeKalb County, the CEO appointed a chair,
Okay.
and that's what he was looking for, someone to coordinate publicity around it and everything. And I think unless there's some objections, that needs to be stricken. Can we get a concurrence on that?
Yeah, I didn't even know what the role was. So.
Yeah.
Coordinating the publicity.
Yes.
Why
No.
would you strike it?
I
Then
think-
because that's part of a duty
Is it a duty?
for the chair.
It's a duty for the chair. Do we want the chair of this commission to coordinate publicity about what's happening with the charter review?
I don't think that.
Well, sometimes they might have to come to the table to discuss it. I mean, not from our request, as a request of us, but sometimes the public might. And that is televised usually. I mean, it could be. Or, depending on who's requested, your public agency.
Yeah, to me,
So then you'll have somebody, well, we hadn't elected officers yet, but I'm just saying, you might want to have someone that's not restricted to the public. Because if it's a conflict with someone, then why would we step out there with a conflict and we know it in the event that something happens that person has to come to the table to discuss matters. Just remember, anything could happen.
And this is just me, and I'm keeping a real basis, but because these are more voluntary positions, that's just probably an added responsibility that some, that is probably not necessary.
That's true.
Due to that.
yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna add to that. To me, I mean, it's not that the role is not important. It just seems to be outside the scope of what chairperson would typically do.
I think item B addresses, I believe, the extent that the chairperson speaks on behalf of the commission.
Right.
And without having to coordinate publicity. And I believe that Ms. Washington, that addresses also your concern about being able to speak, as you pulled in to speak.
It wouldn't be a conflict for you. So why would we go there? Going there would, I mean, if that's included primarily for, if he's the chair. I'm just saying, I just threw that out for you to think about it.
Yeah.
It's a public organization. Don't know where it leads, it's the city.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I guess that's why we want to, even though this is a public organization, as it relates to if someone is speaking on behalf of something related to the city, wouldn't that come through like the communications department for the city?
Yeah, that's my point.
Somebody else already performed that.
That's
Right.
That's
Right.
still basic.
Yeah, so
No,
somebody
but
else.
Basic, but obviously depend on how one would like to pick the various from it. For lack of other terminology.
But you see what I'm saying? The city has a communications department. So technically, anything that is communicated to the public should go through the communications department of the city.
Yeah, especially since item B says that the commission.
But in
That's
the
the
event that the
official
chair has to come forward to be questioned or to state how would you handle it?
That would be item B.
the chairman should represent the commission at all functions and activities, so requiring, but without the authority to state any position of the commission not previously approved. And I would think by the commission.
If it's a conflict of interest, then I don't know why we're dealing with why we're gonna support something like. If it's a conflict of
can we
interest,
just
we
strike
know
it?
it.
So we
I
agree,
would strike it.
somebody else already does it on behalf of the city. The chairman can't speak beyond that what the commission has approved.
Yeah.
Thus, what would the purpose?
But it
be?
looks bad that your chairman can't.
Well, he can as long as it's approved.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, if it's a conflict of interest, then we probably need to strike.
Stricken. Next,
I mean, that's my recommendation.
anything else in, section 2?
I am assuming that under the secretary, item F, to post notices, agendas, and summaries of meetings as required by law, that would also be a function probably carried out by the city clerk, but the city clerk would in turn have deadlines that our secretary would have to get those things to them.
The commission secretary will coordinate with our city clerk.
Okay.
And all of that will be taken care of. And we need to put that in as
I think that
coordinate with city clerk.
The F should be amended to say.
coordinate with the
the
city clerk.
So I just have a question,
Yes, sir.
as I'm thinking about this, with regard to the preparation of the reports, ahead of meetings. Is it time bound in any way? So is it, because the gentleman mentioned earlier about having something posted, and I may be off base here, but I'm just trying to, just trying to see this in action.
Yeah. All of the meetings have to be scheduled, and we have to advertise it within a certain number of days.
Okay.
And we post just the raw agenda. What he was speaking of is on the agenda, it speaks of items you're going to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's more detailed. If you have the additional details, to post that along with it.
Okay.
Within a certain period of time. And there's a limit as to what becomes public knowledge in time. That's why you have the city attorney at the table with us. Some things you have as confidential until you get to a certain point. And once you make a decision on it, then it becomes public. But that's a process. But again, when we publish the agenda, if there are items to be shared with the public, we can go ahead and publish those at the same time. So we can read and they can read what to expect to happen at the meeting.
Okay. I have got a quick question. Where it says secretary, who may be a person other than a member of the commission, what's that? Where does that come from?
City clerk.
City clerk. So the city clerk can serve as the secretary.
Well, we have personnel in the city clerk's office that
Okay.
will be assigned to transcribe your notes, minutes, and get it all copied and ready for you. And we don't expect the secretary to do that for the commission.
Okay.
But we expect them to see to it that it's done. Ask someone, where is it? And when it comes time to handle that in the meeting, you can say, clerk has it, the clerk's office has it, and make it available.
All right.
If you need to get copies of some old minutes, you know where to go get them.
Okay, that's fine. And I just like a little clarity. But
Okay.
on that portion of the secretary, there is a designated person with the clerk's office, so we can just sort of say that's their role, that's their function, and we know we got it squared away.
As it stands right now, that's the city clerk's office.
Okay.
Who the clerk designate will be competent.
Okay.
To handle it. So there's one person, they rotate. I can't say for sure right now. I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering about the time frame. What's the cadence of this commission secretary getting information ours, I'm gonna say ours, as the council, or is it something different? Because they're only gonna meet once a month, yes? That's a meeting schedule?
No. They can meet every day of the week.
If they
So
choose.
inclined. So they haven't set a schedule yet. And,
So that cadence will then be according to.
but then a lot of that's gonna be based on our ability to accommodate. If we wanna make it here at City Hall, and we wanna be able to record it, so we have to, and we don't need to conflict with some other meeting. We have to coordinate it. That's why it goes to the clerk's office, and the clerk is the keeper of the schedule. Okay, keep it moving.
Here's, I guess, the schedule meeting to be put to a vote, this time.
You will suggest the schedule, but again, it's gotta be coordinated with city clerk, to make sure it's not in conflict with others, and then we're good to go.
Just, so I understand that. We would, I guess, converse amongst ourselves and say we'd like to meet. I guess we probably have to put out a couple of days instead of just one day.
Yeah.
Give a couple of days and then see what's available. And then that becomes the official date once the clerk says that's available. We're good. Right. Okay. Kind of withdraw the breakdown.
Yeah. Okay. So usually, you pick your most ideal date and you're all ready to go, and the clerk say, whoops, conflict,
Right.
pick another one.
We go into court every week.
So in here, I don't see any requirement in by the bylaws for the commission to file a formal work plan. So that's not a requirement for us to come up with a work plan and file a work plan, or is that just something that will develop along as we progress?
I'm not sure about a work plan, but in here, under Article 10, the plan of work, final report, identification of issues. It's not necessarily a work plan, but that might be a place to apply one.
You just understand that there's a timeline, that is preferred, that we, wind up in time to file a bill. For the next.
That's why we targeted November, the end of November.
Yeah.
And if you think you're way off and can't get there, then we'll have to look at extension. Or if you get it done in 30 days, we can go celebrate.
This body brings a
Recommendation. And according to the charter, straight to the General Assembly. But council has the right to ask them to check with us. Okay, what else? Next.
So the quorum, I'm sorry, is the quorum gonna hold at 5 as it states here? You need 5 out of 7?
Really, there should, something that we're gonna have to work on and find out for sure. We really need to get that other person on board. But still, you'll need 5 out of 8 to make it work anyway. So yeah, 5 is gonna have to be here.
And votes, are they determined by a majority of the quorum, or does there still need to be a majority of the total body?
One thing the DeKalb County did, I kind of like it, but that's gonna be up to the body. They required a supermajority to change anything. They're saying this is kind of like changing the Constitution. You don't go with a simple majority, you go with a 2/3 majority to change it. So what's 2/3 of 8? Teacher. So I think you need what, 6? if you go with that. But
Yeah.
then I suggested this.
Mhm.
You guys are the ones who will adopt this. You don't think it works, then
I'm just asking because like you say, quorum rules kind of there.
Yeah.
So we have some institutions that say, regardless of the quorum,
Mhm.
the votes to pass something has to constitute a majority of the full body, not just the full
Right.
president.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And my question was, would that be applied to the full body or to the quorum that's present? And that's really my question. Do we need, like, if we only had 6 people present, would it have to be a unanimous vote if there's only 6 people present or a supermajority of the 6?
I have an opinion, but
Now, I
Okay.
do have. Given that this is reflective of a community, I would say that you would want to have the majority of the body because these are members that are appointed by their council representatives. And if you don't do that, then you're now kind of given a skewed view of what may actually be wanted or needed in an area by just who is present. So that's my opinion, and it's just simply because this is, you know, a commission that is established to represent a body of people, citizens that make up the city of Stonecrest. And if you don't use that majority of it, then you're not going to get what's really reflective of Stonecrest.
I have a question on that line.
go ahead.
But the question is, not that there would be any acrimony, but if you have a member who just knows that the vote will go, I mean, it seems to me that we don't want to also allow a situation where someone could just not show up continually for something. Not that I don't think it would occur, but I think that what you were suggesting, because quorum said is 5, we need 8, and 6 we're saying have to vote. So we need 6 people to vote yes. And if we don't have 6 people to vote yes, then we have a quorum for the meeting. We can do nothing. And so what ends up happening, like how do we play that out so that we don't end up stymied and not able to do anything that's not reflective, that doesn't help anybody? I mean, it may be solvable already and solved. I'm asking a irrelevant question, but it seems to be a problem.
From my perspective, that since there is a charter that has been adopted and we are commissioned to review it and recommend potential changes if necessary, then it's not like you're not doing anything if you have something that you can't vote on because you don't have that majority that's used to vote to represent the community. Because you have an existing charter. Okay. So it would be different, in my opinion, if there was not a charter that existed. This is actually a revised charter. So you're talking about a charter that existed, was reviewed by various people deemed to need to be changed. That was done. So now we are attempting to do what, you know, the city charter states as having a charter review commission. And I just, you know, don't want us to go on a slippery slope back to what was done before, because the original charter was done based on a small group that was attempting to reflect 55,000 people.
I think that the whole idea behind a supermajority is that versus a simple majority. If it's just a simple majority, you can continue to flip this thing back and forth just by getting 1 or 2 people to change their vote. But if you go with a super majority, it's going to be difficult to overturn that or to flip that with another vote. So with things that are on the level of constitutional changes, a super majority, I think, says this is what most of the people want, when we say most, we don't mean just barely most, we mean seriously most of the people want to change. And that will probably hold up in the long.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying, Mr. Protem, is that when it comes to voting on our recommendations, both the items that we're gonna address and the recommendations we make for those items are supermajority. But regular meeting procedural votes, like adopting the meetings.
When you gonna meet?
And stuff like that.
51%?
Okay, all right, okay, that makes sense.
I agree.
Okay, what else we got?
We don't have a problem in hearing. Thank you.
Yes, you do.
We, I'm looking up.
Your turn.
Oh, the attorney, there he is, okay. Let me go there. What number were we on again? I'm sorry, I scrolled up.
Oh, we just kind of,
We
Oh,
were kind of,
Chairman.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had jumped down to,
10.
10.
something you said earlier. I really, really do appreciate you guys accepting this assignment. And I know it is very, very time consuming, but we have to be present, participate. And it's in here as well. If you miss a certain number of meetings, we'll replace that person from the commission because we really want to have you present. But I do know that life happens. Sometimes you just can't make it. But let's do our best to be here. And if we need to make adjustments in the meeting, it's gonna be up to you guys to make adjustments to accommodate as many people as you can.
But as far as we know, that is the only stipulation for removal of a member.
Something has something there about.
They had with any member could be recommended with or without cause.
Yep. That being a good reason. I mean, out of misconduct, criminally, something along that line. Not attending, we got that.
With or without?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's all I was looking at.
I thought,
Maybe I
with,
have to go back and look.
it's 3 meetings.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 meetings without,
consecutive meetings.
3 consecutive meetings, and you should be deemed to be.
Or if the council feels that the person is functioning in the best interest of the commission. We could get together and say, this person needs to be replaced. And the replacement comes through the same process that they were originally appointed.
That will take 20 days in the membership.
Yeah, but hopefully we won't have that issue.
No, that's fine.
We pick some good people. And we can get 2 more, well, 1 more good one from the state, and we'll be good to go. Okay, anything else? All right, you checked all your notes?
Just have one thing, it's just, it's really grammatical for section 4, under Article 5. There's, should be proxy voting. Section 4, Article 5. So the title of this is proxy voting. I don't see it. Just where it says, in front of voting, it should be proxy, PR. PR. In the heading, in the heading, I'm sorry. But right next to section 4.
Article 5, section 4.
Article 5, section.
Article 5. No, article.
Yeah, right. Oh, it says proxy voting. Yes, we do proxy. Just a typo.
Yeah, just a
Okay. No wonder. I see, oh, what is up?
One question for the council. On that, no proxy voting, it says to be present via web/telephone as authorized by law. What is the legal requirement for
Yeah, the relief granted during the pandemic is over, and so most public bodies have to appear in person. They have just recently passed, the General Assembly passed a law that allows development authorities to meet virtually with no restrictions. And it's kind of an outlier. I don't know why they selected development authorities, not school boards, or city councils, or county commissions, but development authorities to meet virtually. We are not a development authority, so therefore, the rule is that we have to appear in person unless you have the doctor's notice that you cannot appear. You can do that. Well, you can do it twice without a doctor's notice.
what I'm saying, purpose of voting, though? Not physically be present.
No.
And call in. You have to physically be present.
If you are legally authorized to participate virtually, you can vote virtually. Okay. But if you're not legally authorized to vote or to participate virtually, you can't just call in your votes.
All right. Yeah. So we're technically not.
Now, but I'll say this: we may have a member who says, I'm not well and I need to participate virtually. That person can participate virtually. The person can vote virtually. They're acting in conformity with the law.
They're not there twice.
Right.
Okay, so we have 2 6 that you 2 virtual days, or whatever, 2 6 virtual days. Oh, since we did a little grammatical, in Article 7, Section 1, creation and appointment, the last sentence, I believe, of the members of the committee shall be appointed by the chairperson. It has T in between appointed and chairperson.
Yes.
This one, it's the last sentence under Section 1, Article 7. Members of the committee shall be appointed to chairperson.
Is there a code section as well that says that members of the commission can vote unless there's a conflict of interest? Is that defined somewhere within? I don't know.
I would imagine the conflict of interest consistent with our charter and our ordinance.
Okay, charter.
And if my eyes are not feeling it, are there 2 sections, Article 7s?
7. Yes, there are.
Let's see.
7 committees and 7 rules of order.
Fix that.
Oh,
Okay, any other corrections?
so that should be 8, and then it should be 9. So there needs numbers after that.
Have you ever made all these corrections on me?
Yeah.
Have you made all the corrections already?
No, I've just been making little notes to
Oh,
myself right
you
here.
made the corrections.
Oh.
Get print, we're good to go.
You know, that was my, I didn't know you wanted to. I was just typing in little notes to myself about the name being all sophisticated, and you asked that question, and now.
Because I will,
In that same vein, the 8,
I'm
the
sorry.
one that was 7, that second 7 is 8. And so below that, 8 should be changed to 9.
Right.
Roman numbers.
Yeah, we'll fix them all.
Yeah, it's just actually the 8, 9.
All the rest of mine, right?
And Ms. Walker, it looks like it is pointed out, throughout the charter on the matters of consequence that a 2/3 vote is required.
Okay, so it's in there.
Is it? That's both in the now Article 11 and
So 1, 2s, and 3s in currently Article 10, just those blanks that are there, that in left there intentionally.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
I'm trying to read that.
Yeah, that's when you populate your list. And you might want to take this out of bylaws and put it someplace else, but that's what it's about.
Okay.
You go ahead and make a list.
Okay, we just giving the example, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, consider there are some things that need to be corrected and, while up to date, we can take this, fix it, and bring it back to the next meeting for adoption. And if you see anything else that you think needs to be fixed, send it to whoever gets elected chair. To get it fixed. Anything else with the bylaw? Then we will table them until the next meeting, and you guys can deal with it, but you need to have the bylaws adopted. Okay. Then the next thing on the agenda, election of officers. We did it last time, and let's just do it again for the good of the order. Quick introduction and a little background about each member, so we will know some of the great talents we have at the table. Let us start with the appointment by the mayor.
Good evening, my name is Joel Thibodeau. I'm a resident of Stonecrest, resident of the area for immediate area for 22 years. I was the Governor's Commission appointee for the city of Stonecrest following the passage of the referendum. And I'm just here to serve.
And District 1, Ms. Laura Brown, she's not with us. Ms. Brown virtual? Nope. Then District 2.
That's me. I'm Kirby Clements Jr. They still have me at the second on the agenda, but Kirby Jr. I've been in this area for a long time, 20-something years. But I've been a resident of Stonecrest since its formation. I am a personal injury criminal defense attorney, and I do some other stuff in there as well. Practice with my sister, president of my current homeowners association, and this is my first time serving in this capacity on commission. I'm a former prosecutor in Georgia and in New York. There you have it.
Thank you.
Well, I'm admitted to practice in Georgia, New York, and the District of Columbia.
And District 3.
Hi, my name is LaShonda Walker. I've been a resident of this area for about 25 years. And my background is in IT. I've been there since 91. And here to serve.
Thank you. And District 4.
Dolores Washington, and I have lived in the area for and I'm a retired high school principal, even middle school principal. Part of the community activities But, basically, I'm committed to the community and its achievements.
Thank you. In District 5.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andre Stanton. I too am excited and honored to be here. I am a resident, well, my family, my wife, my daughters and I are residents, longtime residents of DeKalb County. I would say 30 years or so we've been in the city of Stonecrest, or quote unquote, Lithonia since 2011. And I work for, well, I'm a senior program manager with Kaiser Permanente, Georgia. Here. Love the work that I do. I work in community health. So again, I love to serve. I serve with locally here with DeKalb County with the 100 Black Men of Atlanta as well. And so just really just excited to be able to you know, just kind of come here and participate with other great minds so that we can be contributors to making the city better. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Who you?
What? Mayor Pro Tem. We are going to, I can preside over the election officers. I can feel it. First officer will be the officer of chairman. And looking at the bylaws, you see the duties of the chair. And you've heard the members of the commission and all of this great talent we have in this room. So we will elect a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary. First office will be that of chairperson. We will open the floor for nomination for chairperson amongst the 5 of you.
I'm nominating Mr. Thibodeau because he had all the really great questions. And we talked after the meeting last time.
One nomination for Mr. Thibodeau.
I got 2.
Make it 3.
2. Second, yeah. Second that.
A third.
Any other nominations for chair?
That might be did we decide that might be a conflict of interest?
Which?
Based on his employment.
My point. I work for the school district.
Pardon?
I work for the DeKalb County School District.
Right, I mean, based on your employment, as we discussed, would that be a conflict of interest for him to serve as chair of the committee?
I don't see the conflict of
He was the one that brought
interest.
it up in terms of public comment, public image in terms of his role. And I just want to know whether we were clear on that.
But that was stricken. We agreed that was taken out. Because that it was coordinated publicity.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so
I use the school district as an example that although I have responsibilities and responsibility at the school district, I'm not allowed to speak on behalf of the school district.
Correct. And if there are matters that involve the school system, that involve the city of Stonecrest, that might be conflict of interest.
You know, he was saying that he was using it as an example.
I mean, I understand what he's using it for, but I'm stating what it could be.
Well, to be able to remove. He was using it as an example, saying why it should not be a part of the duty of the chairperson.
Right. But I'm saying, I'm asking the question. And this is for the committee to decide. The question is, would it ever be a conflict of interest in the event that he has to be a spokesperson for both? Because you have schools that are within the Stonecrest city. And then he's in a leadership role, administrative role from the hierarchy of the DeKalb County school system.
Right. Now, I will say that what I saw in the charter as the conflict is deals with appointments and I guess being some other head of some department, but I don't think it qualifies. Working for the government didn't appear to be any conflict, as near as I could tell from reading the original or the second charter.
Right.
And then also with respect to what we're charged with doing, I don't necessarily know what could potentially cause a conflict. But I don't, my opinion is,
Right.
when I
I
read
mean,
it,
Yeah,
I'm just asking the question,
Sure.
well, maybe we need to refer it to.
The charter nor the city has any role in the school district or the school system. So there's nothing in the charter even today that refers to a responsibility between the two entities. So it should not be a conflict because there literally is no role for the city to play with the school district.
I would think that if it's a conflict with the holder of an office, there will be a conflict with him serving on the commission. So I think,
I just wanted to make sure that we understood. I think that possibly not work. But I don't have a problem with the nomination. I just want to, for question and discussion, that we understand the importance of that.
these are the questions you have to ask before you win.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then we heard one nomination for chair. Mr. Demont, did we miss anything? Any legal concern?
no, I'm not.
plus it has a remedy.
Okay. So here is no other nomination for chair. We have the one name to vote on to make it official, and that is Mr. Joel Thibodeau for chair. Then move to close nomination for chair.
Second.
Public second. You ready to vote? Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor of Mr. Thibodeau, let it be known by raise of your hand. All those opposed? Let the record show that 4 people voted and Mr. Thibodeau did not vote.
You didn't vote for yourself?
Make it
If
unanimous.
we need 5 votes, I'll vote.
Make it unanimous.
Wow.
It's just a simple majority.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, office will be that of vice chair. We'll entertain nomination for vice chair.
I would nominate Ms. LaShonda Walker for vice chair.
One nomination for Ms. LaShonda Walker. Is there other? One nomination for Ms. LaShonda Walker. Is there another nomination? Hearing none, no.
I
Close
move that the nomination be closed.
Been properly moved and seconded to close the nomination for vice chair, Ms. LaShonda Walker. Any unreadiness to vote? All those in favor of Ms. Walker will signify by raising your hand. Opposed, the same sign. If the record show 4 in favor and 1 abstain.
Are we volunteering people? We're not asking if they're gonna accept the nomination?
Sitting at the table. Secretary, next office is that. At this time, we'll open the floor for nomination for secretary. You read the requirements?
I nominate. What's his name?
This is Dr. Clemens. One nomination for secretary. That is Mr. Kirby Clemens. Is there another? You have another nomination for secretary. Hearing none, you can close the nomination.
I move that the nomination be closed.
That's it. It's probably the second close nomination for secretary, Mr. Curtis. Mr. Kirby. Any unreadiness? Vote. All those in favor of Mr. Clemens as secretary, signify by raising your hand. Yeah, all those opposed? Same thing. 4 in favor, 1 abstain. Okay, the officers are elected, and as soon as we can get the bylaws approved, I would suggest you still follow them as outlined here, and then we'll go from there. And before we turn it over to you, you want to take a look at the ordinance of creation for the Charter Commission. I don't think I made copies of that, but I did send it to you. It was basically what the city said, we hereby resolve that the Charter Commission is activated such date, and you have an activation number, and it makes it official in terms of city record. You have that handy?
I have it online. Oh. That was not the, what was the title of it?
Yeah, I have
Charter Commission.
Charter Commission draft charge?
Ordinance of creation, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Move on up. Mr. Secretary, move down, I said, okay, down. Okay, right there. Read the top of that.
State of Georgia, City of Stonecrest, resolution number blank. The
resolution number is 2023-10-01-01. Now read that preamble.
A resolution by the mayor and city council of the city of Stonecrest, Georgia, to appoint members selected by the Georgia House of Representatives and the Georgia Senate to the city of Stonecrest Charter Commission, as authorized by the General Assembly of the state of Georgia and for other lawful purposes. This is the preamble.
That's good, but I encourage you all to read that in its entirety a couple of times.
You said that?
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah. A couple of times. No, I said it a couple of times.
Okay, I thought you were going to read it a couple of times. Let me read it again.
But that's where you find all your whereases and explaining what the Charter Commission is all about. And it basically is pulled from the charter itself, describing the activities that you will engage in. And again, council is at your disposal. And there are some desires that we have, but it is up to you. You will be acting independently to review the charter and make recommendations. But knowing that you have all the resources at hand, I know you will take advantage of it. Now, the council did meet planning retreat, and we talked about some things that we would like to see on the charter, but like anything, these are just things that we've noticed. Some of them probably can't be done locally, and some of them will be done legislatively by way of the General Assembly. But I would suggest you not worry about that. Just make the suggestion, and then we can sort out, or the General Assembly can sort out what has to be done at that level and what can be done at the local level, or the attorney can help us to sort that out. They want to change the color of our flag, we can do that ourselves. But you want to change the form of government, that goes at another level. So you just come up with the suggestions as to the things that you think can work better. And like I said, we'll have someone to sort them out as to what has to be done at the legislative level and what can be done at a local level. And man, do you have that list that you want to share now? Yeah, we had rather lengthy meeting when we met Sunday 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
A little more than that.
3 weeks ago. Oh, yeah. But we came up with some suggestions, and they're just that. They're suggestions of things that we think need to be tweaked.
It's a baseline.
Yeah. And I'm sure the citizens are gonna throw out a lot of things.
Oh, they're already asking, who do I send my suggestions to?
I was actually going to ask that question. Like, where is that? I guess now I really, where is that repository of somebody has a
secretary of the commission.
Okay. Okay. Via the clerk, I'm good.
The ones that we get, we will forward them to you, either to the chair or secretary. Make sure that the records are kept.
Can y'all establish a mailbox for the commission?
Well, we have talked about that with other committees and groups, and we feel like giving access to city servers and emails to citizens is a bit.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not my.
I mean, we can set
suggestion.
the account up, yes.
An
but
account that where
giving you all
citizens can
access
say,
to the city account.
no, I was
You talking
saying
about
that
an
an email address that citizens
citizens can
and
submit
the city, you know, it's a city
Right.
email address, but then someone from the city staff communicates that to our secretary or to the commission, as opposed to the citizen members of the commission having access to.
Right. It's a possibility.
They should be able to.
I mean, it's a lot of coordination, but remember, I mean, our staff does all of our committees and our council members already.
But I'm saying that that's simply just creating like an alias.
No, I understand the workload it takes to create the email account. I'm talking about having the staff member monitor it and then continue to be responsible for forwarding that information.
They put an automatic forward.
No, we're not automatic forward. Let IT. We're gonna let it go through the IT process. We're gonna automatically forward it out.
No, I'm saying like if it's a suggestion, not forwarding it out, but it could be automatically forwarded to the person. To his email.
Well, whatever the mechanism whereby we come up with where stuff from the public comes in and then is commission based.
Yeah.
Whatever that methodology is, I mean, I don't care, email, Dropbox, carrier pigeon, just as long as we know what it is.
We'll get with staff and figure out what's the best way. Right now, we're encouraging our constituents to communicate with their council member, and then their council member will communicate with the committee. That's the way we feel is most appropriate, so that our council member is in the communication process, and the council member will communicate with their appointee and get the information. See, that's the way that we discussed it. But I'll talk to staff about. Again, it's not the issue of setting up the account. That takes 10 seconds. It's just a responsibility of someone having to be always looking for what's coming in and then be responsible for sending that. And if they don't send it, what happens? Who's in trouble? Who's not? And it just gets into a lot more.
Okay.
Then maybe an easier solution is continue to send the things to our constituents, send them to our council members and our council members.
Yes. Okay. Maybe sounding a little more complicated than it is, but if, like, say for this commission and people can make suggestions and stuff, and they can send it to their council people, but I'm thinking in this modern age that we should have a efficient process and something easy for citizens to be able to submit certain recommendations, suggestions and things like that. And so if we have an account that's set up, that's, deemed for the commission, the Charter Review Commission, we could have a standard, it could be posted online, whatever, that people who are submitting suggestions, they provide, their name, their count, the district they live in, those types of things, so you know where it's coming from. But we want to have something that doesn't make it where, okay, I'm trying to, contact my specific, like when I can get in touch with them. Most people have their phones, laptops, whatever. It's a lot easier for them to submit things that way.
So are you saying like create a smart form that people can fill out and put it on the website?
Well,
So when we do public comments.
This is what I'm saying. Well, I wasn't particularly saying that it had to be a smart form, but you do have like Google, and you can do Google Forms. Microsoft also has their Microsoft Forms. They're very simple.
Sure. We'll let our IT department decide what form and what mechanism they want to use to create said smart form. Which again is still not. That's just as simple as creating an email account. It's the back end of that. The responsibility responsibility of getting that information to you and just figuring out the best way to not, just the best way to get it. So we'll think about it and figure out what is an easy way on the back end after the information is collected to disseminate that information.
Plus, it goes that we don't cut out the council, the representative. That's sort of the purpose.
Well, if we make a form,
yeah. Well, if you make, but okay, because I like what you said, want the representative and they coming up. We do have public comment in our public meetings. People can make the comment there. And then if it's an extra judicial, extra meeting comment, the reality is, one, we'd like to know whether that person that's sending that in is actually a Stonecrest resident. That's important.
Right.
And then two, if they're talking to their representative, who can then bring it to us. So that's representative's function, in fact, to represent their community and say, my community, this is their concern. So I see that it could get out of control. The possibility of trouble is you just indicated if it just goes through an email and then forwarded, and who drops the ball. My comment was, I had a comment, nobody heard, y'all didn't vote on it. So
yeah.
I like to orchestrate the system.
Should we look at procedural here when it comes to who's to answer that? I agree that with the mayor that the elected commissioners would be the front line. See, because they are the people that would be delivering to their constituents, not us. We just serve as an arm to them. So rather than to be in the mix of all of that and trying to communicate what Jasmine has said to me, where I'm to get to X, and that's not my role. My role is just part of the commission, okay. The charter commission, not the citizenry complaints or needs that, or answers that I would like from my commissioner. I think we're crossing the line if we get into that. So I don't see the need for our emails to be out there and you get emails from everywhere. You know, it's just like answering parents 24/7. So I'm just saying you can't do that, and it's not our role. It's the commissioner's role. We share with the commissioners if it comes to us, and we respond to what we've gathered or what we observe and what you might get some that's brought to you, but I would not look at that as being a primary role of ours.
Okay, I'm gonna state this now, and this may be a process improvement suggestion, that since it sounds like there is no process in place right now, efficient process in place for citizens to be able to submit suggestions to their elected officials, that is probably something that Stonecrest should seriously consider.
What do you mean by there's no process for constituents to communicate with their council members?
Well, like right now we're, discussing about this, method to be able to force citizens, if they had certain things they might want to suggest or looked at with the chart. Mm-hmm. And so, one thing was about, Joel came up and mentioned about having an email account or a way for
right, but that's for the commission, not for the city council. You said that there wasn't a process for constituents to communicate with the city council.
Well, I think it's maybe because, when I was listening to what Doris was saying, and, we're indicating about possibly putting out the council members or the representatives, I'm like, well, if we have a method for the citizens to be able to submit suggestions, some type of automated method, and can capture things, because when, like, verbally, I can say a lot of things, but then, when I write it down, you got the rest of it, you can see exactly what I was thinking and talking about or whatever. And so this is, where I was looking at that, having a method for citizens other than just, through emails, because I've actually been on some emails that go through the city and I don't know how I wind up getting copies of them. but I see where people are submitting, you know, things and I get copies of it. So that's why I was just saying is that from the perspective of this committee, that if we wanted to be able to collect certain information, then you can basically define out a form, a smart form, make the data elements required so that people just can't be submitting in partial stuff and they submit their form. You don't provide all the required information, it doesn't get submitted.
Yeah, not to cut you short or anything. And that is that I hope you will have at least one open forum together, that type of information from the public. And we have public comments that take place at each meeting. And from a council, we will also broadcast that this process is going on. And whatever method we come up with, whether it be by way of email the city clerk or special email, we'll make sure that that gets broadcast. Councilman Fye.
Meeting that you have a suggestion box, cards for them to give, to write their information or questions or recommendations, and that would minimize the conflict.
We'll make sure this broadcast is coming. Councilman Fye was trying to get the point.
No, it's
Chairman Thibodeau and Secretary Clements, if I may, may I suggest that the commission itself actually consider creating the creation of run by the secretary could then the commission which or something that has required fields that requires you to add the district you're in addition to your address, your name, contact information, and then
that's an excellent idea, Mr. Councilman. Because I think that we get into going down a rabbit hole where we're thinking about public comments. And we're not talking about public comments. There's only 6 of us on this commission, or ultimately 8 of us on this commission, but we got to do the work for 60,000 residents. There are people in this town who have ideas, but they're not on this commission. And we're talking about something more than what goes on a index card or can be said in 2 minutes at public comments. We're talking about full-fledged ideas that some of our community members have, and we would invite them to share those with us. And I also believe that we need to receive that information independently of any screening or potential screening, or I forgot to forward this to you. If it comes directly to us, then we're responsible for addressing, not even if you don't address it, we're responsible for taking that in and being accountable and saying at least we've received your comment, is being taken under consideration. And so I think that's an excellent idea. I would only ask that the city would post a link or post that information on the website.
Well, see, now that's where some IT issues come in.
What is it, the issue with IT?
Posting a Google form that has not been through our security system is an issue. That is
I mean, but okay. You got a security system now, and you have this. I mean, because the site is going to be on a secure server. So, and with me not knowing your existing IT processes, I'm trying to understand what is a issue with establishing this form where citizens.
I don't have an issue with the form. I just want to make sure that we have information technology security in place so that form or anyone else who has access to this public form does not infiltrate our information security system, and then we have fraud and breaches and we have issues. And I am not the expert. I understand that's your field, so I see you raising up and getting ready to jump on my neck about technicalities. The form is not an issue. We will figure out what is the best way to have something that the public can access in one place, and then in that place is a safe place on both our side and their side. and then how to get that information over to one of you, whether that's to the chair or to the secretary. All, as you know, all forms have to land somewhere. So even if we had a form online, it still has to route somewhere. It's got to go in the back end somewhere. So that somewhere could be one person's email. Just like my meeting request information, I have a smart form, and so if you want to meet with me, fill out information. But the form, when submitted, goes to my executive assistant. It lands in an email box, so it still has to land in the email box.
It doesn't have to actually land, depending on how it's designed. You have forms that data can go into a database.
Right, but no one can get into that database.
It can go, if it's Microsoft, it can be Excel spreadsheet.
I understand.
So that's what I'm saying. From a technical standpoint, that's why I know that this is not something complicated.
No, I don't think it's complicated. I just want to make sure that whatever we do, we hold information security integrity, especially if it's a document that's going to go back and forth between the public and between the commission, because you all don't have City of Stonecrest email accounts where we can make sure that there's information security. So I don't want to drag it, but we will find the solution. Ms. Walker will find the solution. And we'll communicate the different options, and then you all can certainly choose what you think is best.
I was just going to say, that's where we circle back, and I was saying with what Joel stated about having a mailbox that is, part of the city, because that mailbox would not be going to any personal email account.
We understand what the issue is, and that is we want to make sure we're able to get information from the public. So whatever it takes to make that happen, we'll put that in place and we'll communicate that to you. Right now, I hear a lot of things being bounced back and forth, but I don't know where we're going to settle, but we need to settle in a good place and communicate it to the general public so we can have access to public input. But you guys are the focus. You're the nucleus of this.
But I think we need to also look at what our primary role is, and that is to establish or to operate within certain guidelines for the city to operate, and we're not the, of course, gathering data is so important, but we got to look at what our primary role is, and that is to establish overall procedures based on the law in order to operate this city, not necessarily the community.
The primary role is to review the charter and make recommendations, but you will follow some guidelines and get in there. And public input is critical as well.
I believe Article 2 is very clear. And I think we all can agree on that. I as I'm listening, certainly won't belabor the point, but I did want to say that I like the idea, however we get, the process of the vehicle in which we use to get there. I like the idea of gaining, insight from the community, because it is important. And when they're able to do that, it helps them to feel engaged and involved. And so it makes me feel a part of the process. Even if you don't adopt what it is I suggested or recommended, heard, people oftentimes just want to be heard. And so I just think that by us, doing that and including them, it helps with transparency. It helps with everything. People feel engaged, they feel involved. So,
Okay.
Support it.
All right. And we want it to be easy for everybody, for them, for us, for staff, for IT. We want it to be a seamless and easy process. We just need to work through some of the details so we can make sure that it works the way. But we want you to we do not want people to inundate you as if you are the council member. So I certainly understand your point. And we also want to make sure that the council members, if constituents wanted to reach out to them, that they still feel like that's a mechanism for them to communicate through as well. And then last but not least, be able to collect data at each point in time and get that over to you in an organized fashion. So don't at least forget, don't take me wrong, and I don't want you to have that. I do. I just want to make sure it flows correctly. We have worked so hard with our information security to get it under lock and key. Just want to make sure that whatever we do is good for everyone.
All right. I don't want to be in that. And get to that.
September's gotta get home to dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But the mayor was going to finish, a note. Are you gonna be able to get all of that to us now? Did
You wanna get out of here, we're
No?
not started.
We went through the charter from getting, we didn't make it to the bottom. So there are some suggestions made. So, you were transcribing and reading, are they finished?
No.
Well, okay. Then you'll get them
I mean,
to
I can read my
council.
writing.
No, you'll get them to council and to, the commission as well. And I can boss the mayor around. When you gonna have that ready?
I just want to say, I see you with your.
That thing they made.
Any idea what we're going?
Oh, I see you.
When I get that.
When do you meet again?
We need to get-
I mean, got nothing else.
we have to transcribe it. But again,
I'm gonna give it to you as quickly as I can.
these are notes from input from council. And they are suggestions based on our experience and observation with SB 208 as well as SB 21. So I think you need that.
Email.
That would be.
Yeah. Once I get a chance to check it out and put it in some format,
I'll do it.
you can understand.
I just want to know how it was coming.
Yeah, I'll put in one document.
And the next thing you need to do is set the next meeting. Suggest.
Seems like y'all like us here on Wednesday.
Well, that's one day that's kind of open a lot.
I mean, cause it does, I mean, I don't know if we have the calendar, but it does have to be set on a day that obviously.
We tried to do concurrent meetings and that didn't work, so we have to.
I made an assumption that because I made an assumption that Wednesday was chosen because Wednesdays will generally open.
Generally,
I
And
don't know
so
if every Wednesday, like what is it? Is it the third, the second Wednesday? What is it?
Third.
So the tips committee is the second Wednesday. Film and entertainment is the third Thursday. Development authority is the fourth Wednesday. Finance is the third Wednesday. So there's maybe a first Wednesday? Assuming that Wednesdays are what we're.
I just
trying
brought
to
up Wednesday, but we're talking about trying to, and we may just need to set our next meeting and then have a discussion about our meeting cadence. Because I don't see us getting this done meeting once a month between now and November.
No, that's true. And maybe if we could get that calendar so we know what dates are available. Kind of coordinate our meeting.
I would not make it generally on weekends, but we can squeeze a couple of weekends in if you need to meet on weekends.
When you say weekend, you talking about Saturday or Sunday?
Either or both. But give us enough notice to make sure we can get staff.
Because we gotta get staff in here to open the building. They have to stay with you the entire time.
I think we can Saturday. But anyway, I'm available for whatever. But I think it's just good that, you know, that you spend some time with them.
We can,
RME is on trial.
we can send what's available in the month. We can just send first Wednesday, second Tuesdays, first Thursday. We can send what's available based on the committee schedule and the council meeting schedule.
It's the first Wednesday of August, baby.
It's the first Wednesday. I can't tell you each month, but I can tell you. I know I don't know it by month. I can just tell you if the first Wednesday has a standing meeting or not. It doesn't look like first Wednesdays have a standing meeting. Second, third, and fourth already.
It looks like the first Wednesday is open if y'all want to try to grab that. If that doesn't,
First
we can
Wednesday.
always adjust it.
First Wednesday.
I think let's take something.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work,
Let's get the definition. First Wednesday is open. I'm open the first Wednesday of the month. I'm free.
And we can just send it with only a letter bounce across the schedule and it's over.
You want to wait that long?
What's today's date? Today,
Is that 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
we getting jammed up against the
Yes,
beginning of
the
school,
third.
so
Yeah.
everything's compressed.
Right, right.
I'm good with the first Wednesday. The only reason why I asked is because we still have bylaws to pass.
That might be a fifth. Wednesday in this month.
That would be
No,
August
not
the
August.
7th, wouldn't
The
it?
31st,
The 31st is the fifth.
Of August?
31st of July.
Oh,
And I have,
Okay.
I know we have the
development
bylaws
authority.
passed, but also mayor gets those suggestions passed so that we can actually have a body of stuff to kind of go with. That's why I think the first Wednesday would work. We can do our
Okay.
bylaws, and we'll also have time to look at it in the interim
Mhm.
to kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Y'all shouldn't know. So we're going for
July 31st, we have,
the last Wednesday,
Okay.
July 2.
no, we have development authority.
Oh,
the last
that's
Wednesday.
Okay, so July 7th, 6
August
p.m.
7th.
August 7th.
August 7th,
August
6 p.m.
8, 7, 6 p.m. I'll be over.
But if November is the target,
Yes,
you all don't even work a month, you only talk.
that's not
Maybe
gonna
3
work.
more meetings.
Right.
That was
And Mr. Chair.
Oh, no,
then you
we
have-
we're only
Obviously,
once a month. We're gonna increase our.
You can always meet with less than four.
That's what I was about to say, but Mr. Chair, you can set up subcommittee,
Okay.
and they don't have to.
Yeah, the executive committee
Yeah.
could meet.
Once
Y'all
we
can
have, I
check
think,
it.
once we have the suggestion.
Right.
We can divide those into general sections of the charter. And then we can establish subcommittees for those general sections of the charter. And meet the subcommittees. can meet.
I think it can be virtual.
Yeah,
Subcommittee.
yeah.
As long as you don't have more than,
That's not a quorum, then you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, that's a law.
They can have three.
And I can't vote in subcommittee.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But you ex officio member of all this.
Right, all of them. I gotta go to all the meetings, but I can't vote.
Right, but now, where did you get the 3 from? You put a number out there, kind of.
Now she's talking council.
Okay, I was like 3, but that's a new number.
I was
Yeah,
counting. Said it out loud.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, quorum is 5.
Yeah, form is
It's
5.
8 of- But it's only 7 appointed.
So far, we're gonna have 8 in total.
So until you have 8, 7 is the total in the form.
Till we get the 8 person.
So you gotta be less
So
than
we
quorum,
talked
right?
about, we're gonna work on getting that done next week.
Yeah, so instead
Then
of
we'll
quorum,
have the election.
and then once we have the last elected, the last appointee, then less than a quorum, maximum less than a quorum.
Right. So until then it's 3.
You got to mess the numbers, because 3 would be you, but you'd be a non-voting member, so that would just be 2 people to vote. Well, not really
I don't
vote.
think the quorum applies to
Yeah,
the
we'll
voting
make it,
member.
no, I'm just, I got that part, but I was just saying that to the extent that that subcommittee, how,
Needs to vote.
yeah.
And usually
You wanna have
subcommittees don't do a whole lot of voting. You
Right, it's kind of come up with agreement.
Kind of coming to a consensus.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a quorum.
This has not heretofore been an acrimonious process. I mean,
You don't wanna turn this.
right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Better to be a little-
Right.
Yeah.
Subcommittees, I think, we flexible.
Okay.
You know, it's these public meetings that, we gotta follow, but I think we can set up some routines for subcommittees.
Okay.
And,
So we'll check with Sonia on August 7th at 6 to make sure everything's clear.
who's listening? Is Sonia listening? Okay. What else do we have?
German.
And I think at this point, we release this body to the chair of the commission. And, we are out of the way. You need us, you call us, right?
I just want to say to the mayor and council, thank you for entrusting us with this very important work that will shape the future of this city. We'll work diligently to get that done. I want to say thank you to my colleagues for trusting me as chair. I'll do my best to make sure that we move forward with consensus and without effort. So that's my plan. If there's no other discussion, I'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
First, begin in a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This meeting is.
And she'll follow up with something. I'm following with IT,
We all need to,
Yes, Mayor Cabo, you're gonna follow up with that.